Welcome to the Basics of APA Style. Information in this presentation has come from the American Psychological Association Manual, 6th edition. A helpful place to find information on APA writing is in the Canvas system. If you go to the Pages tab and scroll down, you'll see this APA Style Help section. Click on there and you'll find lots of places to get information on various parts of your paper and on citations and references. When we begin writing, we start with our title page. The title page can be found in that APA Style Help section. They'll give you examples and information on how to create the title page. But basically, it would have up to 5 elements, and that would include the title, the running head, the author, which would be your name, a byline if there is one, and an institutional affiliation. Some faculty may want other things on the title page, including the date, so just check with your faculty member to see exactly what else they would like on the title page. The title page is also numbered 1. It's the first page of your paper. The running head we mentioned from the title page is simply a shortened part of your title of your paper, and that's going to appear on every page. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Here we see at the very top the running head, and it does look like this example. It'll have running head, colon, and then the shortened version of the title of your paper in all caps. And you see it's right across from the page number, which is 1, since this is our title page. And on this sample you see we have the elements. We've got our running head, we have the title of our paper, the student name, their affiliation, and in this case the byline we have is the name of the course and the course number. But then again, like I said, check with your faculty member to see exactly what they would like on your title page. When we get to the body of the document, I find it really helpful to create an outline. It's just a good way to set up the writing so you know what your headings are going to be, and you can also determine from there what levels you're going to need for headings. In APA style, there are up to 5 levels. Most papers utilize levels 1 through 3. Today we're just going to talk about levels 1 and 2. But there's information in that APA writing help on all 5 levels if you need them. So here's a sample body of the paper, and this shows you a level 1 heading. So from the outline that was created, there's these sections, getting started and preparing to write. And so they're each different elements of the paper, and they're going to talk about specific things. So they're a level 1 heading. The level 1 appears in the center. It is bolded, and the first letters of the words are capitalized. Now, if there were subheadings underneath of our level 1 heading, those would be level 2 headings. So here's an example, successful writing. We open with a sentence or two about what that is, and then break it down into some subheadings. So the subheadings, which are level 2 headings now, are flush to the margin. They are also bolded, and they do have the first letters of the words in capitalization. So that's an example of a level, a 2-level body of the paper. While you're writing the body of your paper, you're going to be bringing in information from various resources, and we must give credit where credit is due. So that would require us to give in-text citations that's going to talk about who is the author and what is the date of the paper or resource that we got information from, and we're going to put it in there. Now, if there is no author's name, no surname for the author, you can't find an author, you would put an abbreviated part of the title of the article or book that you're going to be citing, and then you also include the year. Now, if there's no year, you don't have a date, you would use N period, D period, and there's no space between those, and that stands for no date. So let's look at some examples. So here are some examples of in-text citations, and there are 2 forms. The first one shows the surnames of the authors with the ampersand sign, then a comma, and the date. And it's in that format because it comes at the end of the sentence or at the end of the paragraph, and it'll have a period at the end. The second one is built into the body of the sentence itself, and therefore we use the word and we put the date in parentheses, and that just flows better as well. If you read it according to McInnes and McElroy, 2010, comma, and then go on with the sentence, it just makes sense that it's in that format. So keep in mind there are two formats for your in-text citations. The last part of our paper would be the reference page, and we need to have a reference for every in-text citation, and they need to match. You might find it easier to write your reference list first, and therefore you'd have your citations already. You'd see the date and you'd have the author's names, and then you'd know that they would match. Here's an example of a reference page. The word reference is at the top, it is centered, and it's not bolded, but the letter R is capitalized. And you will also note that the references are listed in alphabetical order. Now, there's different formats for different references. If you're referencing a book, you would put the author's names in this format, and then put the date. Then you have the title of the book in italics, and not every word is capitalized. You'd only capitalize the first word or any surnames. Then if you have an edition, this is the format for edition. Then you put the location, and then you put the publisher's name. So those are examples of books. If you're referencing a periodical such as a journal, magazine, or newspaper, you would use this format. The author, you just use their last name, of course, and the initials, date, the title of the article. Now the title of the article is not in italics, but it only has the first letter capitalized. The journal itself, or the periodical, is in italics with all of the words in capital. Then followed by the volume in italics, the issue in parentheses, and the page numbers. And the page numbers are completely written out. If you have a DOI, which is a digital object identifier, these are for electronic journals, then you would include that at the end of all the information for your periodical. If you do not have the DOI, then you need to include the URL or home page identifier. This is so people can find the resource you're referring to. So this journal is an electronic journal retrieved from a website. If you're going to be referring to websites, you have to use more than just the URL. So find as much information as possible to provide a full reference and then have your in-text citation. So look on the website for who is the author. It might be a group author. A date might be at the bottom of the page or somewhere in the body of the first page. Title, and then put retrieved from and the URL of the home page. There are some resources available for you to help with APA, because I know this was quick, but you can go to that APA Style Help under the Pages tab in your Canvas system. There is an APA book you can either purchase on the hard copy or an e-book of the APA 6th edition manual. And another helpful resource comes from the Purdue University Online Writing Lab, known as the Purdue OWL. And here is their reference. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. Wish you much luck with your APA formatting.